The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Brandon, we've seen a lot of fun coming out of a certain dugout here, and that being the Baltimore Orioles. Are the Baltimore Orioles an all-time vibe?
Sure. I did see something about the Orioles. What exactly have they been doing in their dugout, LJ?
Particularly the thing that kind of sparked this was they've got a new extra base hit celebration. The Orioles have now taken to becoming human fountains.
Okay, I did see that. Yes.
Everybody gets up to the front of the dugout, takes a sip of water, and then does a fountain arc, spitting out the water into the dirt in front of the dugout. Again, that was kind of the first thing that I saw that made me think, all right, this team just kind of has that energy. And then to further back that up, I started just kind of going through this team. And I'm like, who on this team, A, do you find to be unlikable? I can't find anyone. Can you?
Honestly, no. I mean, it's just so many young players that I don't have an opinion on many.
Well, that honestly plays very well into this point because it's a bunch of kids. And that kind of very much feeds into this vibe, into this overall, persona that they've created of just a fun place to play and a team that you wants to watch if you're going to have a good time. Because if they're rolling, you're going to feel happy. I mean, Anthony Santander, a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, we don't need to talk about Cedric Mullins and Adley Rutschman because they're just exciting players that overall I've found, is it fair to say both of them have very good personalities out on the while they're playing? Because a lot of guys, you get the angry, you get the hyper focused guys who are just all locked in. When these guys get locked in, it almost feels like you can see them having fun. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Adley Rutschman is if he played in the 1980s, I think he would be one of the most popular players. Everything he does is likable to, I think, both our generation and an older generation. For the older, I mean, we don't have to explain much why he's likable to us because we just watch him and he's just has a great aura around him. But for the older
vibe test.
Yeah,
the more important thing than the eye test.
Right. For the older generation, you're looking at a switch hitting catcher, which I don't know how many of those are around. He's the only one I can think of. Who rakes and is really good behind the plate, was really good in college. I think won a College World Series, won a MVP of the College World Series. He's a very accomplished baseball player. First overall pick in the draft in 2019, tore it up in the minors, and so far this year has just been tearing it up in the majors. So extremely likable player who, like LJ said, this team is fun, and it sucks because I wish they weren't in the AL East because I hate seeing other AL East teams have fun, LJ.
It's interesting, though, for me, because as a Patriots fan, there's this certain understanding that I desperately try to fight with the Buffalo Bills, where everyone just finds the Buffalo Bills to be kind of cute. Like, oh, look, they're having fun. Oh,
look at Josh Allen do the little runny thing, and then he's going to throw it 50 yards down the field. Look at Josh Allen, man.
Exactly. Everybody roots for the Bills' success just because it feels like it's like a toddler having or a good run of luck. It doesn't get taken. The Bills don't get taken seriously in Boston. And so I kind of liken it to this, where I just kind of, I want to take the Orioles seriously, but at the same time, I'm kind of rooting for them because they're not successful, and I don't feel like they're going to actually be a threat when the Sox are a threat. Is kind of the spot in my head. I know deep down that probably isn't true, that this group, especially as we get more and more of these guys to see success, let's remind ourselves, Cedric Mullins has a lot of good years left ahead of him, especially as he's trying to break into this new world. I think arguably offensively his numbers have kind of been low for what I would expect out of him to start the year. I mean, 250 batting average isn't really like him. He continues to at least, heat up a little bit into the summer. He's already getting stolen bases on 11% of his plate appearances.
The Orioles, LJ, the stolen base numbers on this team, they just run wild. I mean, Mullins with 9, Jorge Mateo, who I think led the majors in steals last year, he's got 8. Adam Frazier, this was a guy in 2021 who LJ and I I'm sure you remember a little bit. He was hitting like 360 or 370 at a crazy high batting average, and his expected stats were terrible. It was like, how long is this going to continue for?
And it continued right up until the point he went to San Diego.
Right, yeah. But this is a guy that just fits in this team. To hit him 5th, yeah, he's probably the you can make an argument that he might not even be a top 6 hitter on this team, but it's just a guy that fits. He plays good defense. He can steal some bases too. LJ, you named this segment. Are the Orioles an all-time vibe? Yes. Yes, they are. And they're going to become the team that people kind of latch onto. And it's like the last 5 years, this franchise has, other than 2022, has been pitiful. There's been nothing to like or watch about this team. And now they're putting it all together. You go out, you sign Kyle Gibson. You have Grayson Rodriguez, who, he struggled to start so far, but this is one of the premier pitching prospects in the MLB. You have a nasty bullpen. Felix Bautista's splitter could arguably be one of the best pitches in baseball. John Means will be coming back at some point. Let's not forget, he was one batter away from a no-hit or from a perfect game back in 2021. He ended up with the no-hitter. This team, LJ, you're absolutely right. You hit it just exactly all-time vibe.
Yeah, and again, I don't know when the last time we've seen a team like this. I mean,
maybe Seattle last year.
I don't even think they matched this vibe. That was more Julio than anything. I felt like dragging that up for me. Like, I would say we're going back a decade to find a team that I think is playing such fun baseball. I mean, the last one that comes to my mind would be maybe, 13 Sox, 10, 11 Giants.
Okay.
Those are the last teams I can think of with this type of vibe. And that's not to say they're going to necessarily win a World Series, but this is a memorable, fun kind of team.